Camille Johnson had built her life with quiet grace, unshakable poise, and a work ethic sharper than any executive's suit, but none of that seemed to matter at Eddington & Rowe, a luxury design firm in downtown Manhattan, where her Ivy League degree, flawless record, and 6 years of loyalty earned her nothing but coffee runs and condescending glances from colleagues who couldn't spell half the names she'd designed logos for. It was a Tuesday morning when the sting came hardest, when Rebecca, the VP's daughter with a plastic resume and a platinum trust fund, called Camille into the boardroom not to consult on the quarterly pitch deck Camille had created and polished all weekend, but to publicly scold her for forgetting almond milk in a coffee order Camille was never meant to fetch in the first place. And as the room of executives snickered while Camille stood there holding a tray with overpriced lattes like a servant, her cheeks burned not with shame, but a rising fire of fury restrained only by years of learning to keep her head down, to prove herself twice over, to endure what others never had to prove at all. And just when Rebecca added insult to humiliation, by snatching the tray from Camille's hands and muttering, "We hired you for diversity, not decisions," the heavy glass doors at the far end of the boardroom flew open with such force that the laughter cut short and every head turned in stunned silence. Because walking in uninvited and radiating the kind of energy that shifts tectonic plates was Nathaniel King, the reclusive, elusive tech billionaire whose name held weight on Forbes lists and whose presence at any office was headline-worthy. And as he strode past frozen executives with eyes locked only on Camille, his wife, the woman they'd humiliated as if she were nothing, he took her trembling hand with reverence, kissed her knuckles gently, and then turned to the stunned boardroom, with a cold, imperious tone that made the air go still. "Which one of you decided to disrespect my wife?" And in that moment, everything changed. Nathaniel King's presence was like a thunderclap in the suffocating boardroom where power had always meant something else until now, when the self-assured billionaire with his tailored suits and calm fury exposed the petty cruelty of those who thought they could treat Camille like a second-class citizen. He paced slowly, eyes scanning each smug face as if weighing their worth, and then with a voice that carried both ice and fire, he demanded names, roles, and justifications, tearing apart every excuse like a judge with a gavel that shattered the fragile egos of executives who had been ruling with unchecked arrogance, their smirks replaced by sweat and stammering denials, while Camille, still clutching her trembling hands, felt a strange mix of vindication and disbelief that the man she loved, her partner not only in life but now in battle, had arrived as her champion. And as Nathaniel announced a sweeping restructuring that left the room breathless, firing half the staff on the spot, including the arrogant VP who had belittled her, he made it crystal clear that disrespecting Camille was no longer tolerated, and that the firm would now answer to a new standard of respect and excellence, one that recognized talent beyond skin color or privilege. And as the dismissed employees gathered their belongings in stunned silence, Camille's colleagues who remained watched the scene unfold, knowing the landscape of power had shifted irreversibly, with Nathaniel standing beside Camille not just as her husband, but as a symbol of the unstoppable force they represented together, an unbreakable team rewriting the rules of success and respect in a world that had tried to hold them down. In the days that followed Nathaniel's dramatic intervention, the once cold and toxic atmosphere at Eddington & Rowe transformed almost overnight, as Camille stepped into a new role not only as the company's newly appointed chief creative officer but as a beacon of resilience and empowerment for every overlooked talent who had suffered in silence. And with Nathaniel's backing, she launched a sweeping diversity initiative that not only rewrote hiring practices but also infused the company culture with authenticity, inclusion, and bold creativity that had been sorely missing, earning respect from clients and competitors alike. The fired executives, left to reckon with their arrogance, were soon replaced by a team handpicked by Camille and Nathaniel, people who valued merit and integrity, and who understood that true power was earned through respect and collaboration, not fear and entitlement. And as Camille navigated this new terrain with a fierce determination and a grace that stunned even her harshest critics, she found strength in her community, friends, family, and mentors who had always believed in her, while Nathaniel, fiercely protective yet humble, made sure the spotlight never distracted from Camille's talents and vision, proving that behind every successful woman is not just a supportive partner but an equal force, a protector of dreams. And together, they rewrote the narrative of what it meant to be a power couple in the modern age, leaving behind the humiliation and paving a future where Camille's brilliance shone unapologetically, lighting the way for others who dared to rise. Months after that unforgettable day when Nathaniel King stormed into Eddington & Rowe and changed everything with a few decisive words, Camille Johnson stood before a crowd of industry leaders, employees, and journalists at the company's annual gala, radiating confidence and pride as she accepted the prestigious Creative Visionary Award that recognized not only her groundbreaking designs but the seismic cultural shift she had ignited within the firm and beyond, her speech weaving a powerful narrative of resilience, dignity, and the uncompromising pursuit of respect in the workplace. She spoke candidly about the humiliation she endured and how it could have crushed her spirit, if not for unwavering belief in her worth and the unshakable partnership she shared with Nathaniel, who watched from the audience with pride and admiration, knowing that their combined strength had dismantled barriers that had once seemed insurmountable. And as she called on the next generation to demand equity and embrace their voices unapologetically, the crowd erupted in applause that echoed far beyond the glittering ballroom, signaling a new era of leadership forged from pain but fueled by purpose. And as Camille returned to Nathaniel's side, their hands clasped tightly, it was clear that her victory was not just personal but a legacy, one that would inspire countless others to rise above humiliation, shatter glass ceilings, and redefine power on their own terms, proving once and for all that no one could ever dim the light of a woman who refused to be anything less than extraordinary.